I do not go out to the public with a project unless I can basically guarantee that they will get an honest shot for their dollar if they put their dollars.
Hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here from the StockPulse Network. We are wrapping up at the Silver and Gold Summit, although fortunate to be joined by Tom Kennedy of Klondike Silver. And Tom, how has everything been going at the conference for you? Learning anything exciting and new this week?
Well, the key thing with the conference is interaction with people. And yes, I've had a good chance to talk to a lot of people about a lot of different things, and it's what you're hearing, and it's the relationships that can play a part in your future that make this all worthwhile to come here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, well, I think there was about 66 companies here with booths, I understand. And there's a lot of good quality here, a lot of good projects, and this year I made the effort to come to this show, which I haven't been to San Francisco many years, because it only makes sense to come to these shows if you have a project that makes sense at the time to present to people. In other words, if it's just a little too early stage, well, you haven't got that excitement and that nearer term expectations that can come together.
Right.
So we fortunately at this stage, after 3 years spending about $3 million on basics, it's like you keeping your own house in order. You got to keep your house in order to be able to move forward from it.
Right.
So we got to the point in August where we had done everything necessary to allow the Ministry of Mines in BC to amend our mine permit so that we could commence the future of our project. And I have no complaints about the fact that it took a few years, because the things you're doing are such as ground control, which is making sure the adit is safely built so you aren't going to have any injuries for workers. Well,
right.
Hey, that has to be done. So we got all those things done, and so we announced to the public that we've got a permit to do some technically underground exploration drilling and exploration drifting. So about a month ago, along this very safe adit underground, we have started the drifting part, and then we'll be setting up a drill station to start drilling up, we believe, through a footwall area as defined by our 3D modeling,
right,
which could take us into what we're looking for, which is
hopefully some silver.
New discoveries of silver, lead, and zinc.
Yep.
So the project's got a great history, and again, getting back to people, the key thing with Klondike Silver is that after I took over management about 3.5 years ago, I was introduced to a number of people that had some association with the project, and one person in particular, who's our consulting geological engineer, an environmental engineer, had actually been in charge of all the mining and exploring at the Silvana mine in this camp where we're basing ourselves from.
Right.
Well, how often are you going to find the person that absolutely knows everything about the camp to be available to assist us? So even though he's a consultant for Micon Engineering and works worldwide at times, here he is spending the majority of his time at the present time consulting for us. And again, without a person like that, this doesn't work.
Right.
And there's a mine manager up on the property that's been keeping all the ducks in order up there. There's a mill up there that needs to be care and maintenance till we get to the point where we can start bringing out our new discoveries we hope to make through the mill, into the tailings ponds, all the ore down to a trail which is about 100 miles away in southeastern BC,
right,
where the smelter is. So there's a whole infrastructure together here, which is very needed.
Right.
If one's going to have a chance to move ahead.
Yeah.
So that's say after 3 years, the base came together. We've got the permit. Then in August and September, we announced that we were doing a financing, and that the financing is available for any investor to consider getting involved with us. They have to meet certain investing exemptions under securities laws, etc., to be able to do that. The Securities Commission doesn't want everyone taking their last few dollars and taking the shot here. They like people to take the time, get to know the project, get to know the people,
right,
and determine if it fits into their personal financial base.
right.
So the key thing with mining projects such as Klondike's Silver, Lead, Zinc project is an investor needs to be comfortable that the company has a team, and they have to be comfortable that what is being represented to them is factual.
Right.
And that's one thing that I'm very concerned about, and I've always, in my involvement over the last 20, 30 years in public companies, I do not go out to the public with a project unless I can basically guarantee that they will get an honest shot for their dollar if they put their dollars invested into the shares in the marketplace or directly into the company by way of private placement.
Right.
So that's where we're at. We're at the beginning. The object is to try and, in essence, reactivate, rejuvenate, revive the Slocan mining camp in southeastern British Columbia. Mm-hmm. It was a 254 square kilometer camp with upwards of 150 past producers in it of all sizes. And fortunately for Klondike Silver, there was a key party in 1999 that had the vision to, in a terrible mineral market time, to be able to acquire 100 square kilometers of that whole package, because the times dictated you could go out and do that at a very modest price.
Right.
So we've got a large camp. There's a lot to do, but when you have what might be called a sort of a candy store of different things you could look at, you've still got to focus. And we have the one focus, because that's what you need.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that, Tom, because one of the themes, as all the folks I've spoken with and we've heard speak this week, it's really a business that requires patience and having a good team. And sometimes on today's Wall Street markets, where people want things to happen the next quarter and 10% on their latest Facebook stock, really having those fundamentals in place seems like makes a big difference between whether you actually stay focused and end up finding what you're looking for or not.
Absolutely. I mean, that's precisely what's happened with us. We've had a good investor following, and we had one larger investor, which is part of the patient crowd, knowing the history of people that have been involved with the company.
Right.
And have done well with that over the years, and they were prepared to come to the table when a lot of people might not come to the table, mm-hmm. because of the people and the history. And so they've enabled us to be able to come out to everyone today and say, hey, we're worth looking at, and there is no instant miracles.
Right.
We are quite confident that in the next 6 months that our drifting and drilling program could potentially, with the drill tentacles, reach into the new pods of silver, lead, zinc, which have been the basis for all of these past producing mines in this camp.
Right.
So that's basically the framework we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, so it sounds like some exciting times coming up, and I always imagine when you're really reaching that point where you're going and finding what you have there must be just an exciting time in general. And perhaps in wrapping up, you could just let folks know where they can find more information and stay posted on what's happening with Klondike Silver and see how it goes. Yeah,
well, one of the things in talking about this particular company is the concept of infrastructure. Is there a real base there?
Right.
Well, we have a 100-ton-a-day mill, which it hasn't been used since 2013, but it's on care and maintenance, so we, tuning that up. So we have a mill that can process the materials coming out of the mountain, and if all that happens, then only about 100 miles away, due south of where our project is in southeastern BC, is in Trail, is Teck, formerly Kamenko's smelter for smelting the lead, zinc, and silver, and that's where all of the previous ore has gone and passed over the years. So you've got a smelter nearby. We've got a mill on the property. We've got the infrastructure, which would cost an inordinate amount of money if it wasn't there already.
Right.
So given the infrastructure, and given the status of the actual project, and the fact that now we are doing what most people, when they invest, they want to know when you're actually going in the ground to find the goodies. Well, if the goodies are there, which we believe they are, that's what we're doing.
Well, Tom, I appreciate you stopping by, and it'll be exciting to see how it all plays out, and we'll bring you back on soon and get an update, and best of luck with the search, my friend.
Thank you very much.
All right,
appreciate
thanks,
that.
Tom.
Yep.